All right, the tweets reaction from all over the world now coming in on confirmation of the death of Prince, the big entertainer, dying a couple of hours ago at his Minnesota estate. We don't know the details behind that death. What we do know is that the world is shocked. Chelsea Clinton saying, "Thank you, Prince. All my thoughts and prayers are with you and your loved ones." Neil deGrasse Tyson saying, "We know what it sounds like now when doves cry." Keith Urban, the big singer, just heard about Prince. "I cannot believe it." And no less than Shaquille O'Neal, rest in Prince peace. Another icon gone too soon. I think that would be readily apparent and in agreement with Joe Piscopa and Robert Davi, who each have a unique Prince connection, beginning with my friend Joe Piscopa. Joe, you and I were chatting in the SNL years.
Yeah.
He was a guest.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember like yesterday, you know, where we heard, this was before, when we first replaced the original cast on SNL, and then Eddie was on, and all Eddie kept campaigning for, Eddie Murphy kept campaigning for, get Prince on the show. You got to get this guy Prince. And we're going, who's Prince? Who's Prince? Got to get him.
What year was this?
1980, man. 1980. I think it was one of Prince's first network appearance. So
and he wasn't quite as
That's
big,
right.
84 with Purple Rain is when he really hit it.
So he came in. He was small in stature. He walked, but he kind of floated when he walked. He was so cool. He kind of floated when he walked. He ripped it up at Studio 8H at NBC, and nothing really impressed my dear log-type friend Eddie Murphy. But when Prince came on, I'll never forget, Eddie was just beside himself excited that Prince was there. And then Prince did the SNL 40, and Jimmy Fallon's got the best. Jimmy Fallon was emceeing it, and McCartney was there, Neil, everybody was there. Taylor Swift was on stage. It was Billy Murray, everybody. And then, as Jimmy Fallon, these are Jimmy's words, the seas parted, and Prince kind of floated up onto the stage, and he did Let's Go Crazy. He did it at the SNL 40.
How was he personally? Was he,
you know what? That's a great question.
Shy, very...
I stepped back. I would watch. He was friends with Eddie, and they would talk, and I kind of felt like the dorky white guy in the corner. How are you? You know, so I kind of stayed away and let it be. But I tell you what, he was always respectful, always nice. Seemed very shy, actually.
Interesting. You know, Robert Davi, did you guys share an agent or something like that? Robert, can you hear me?
Well, Bob Cavallo managed Prince for many years from the beginning. And he then became the chairman of Disney Music, who then helped me get my deal with Universal. So Bob Cavallo was a close friend, but he managed Prince for many years, all during those Purple Rain and prior, and really building that wonderful career of his. And I think, you know, people have talked about David Bowie, but I think a big influence for Prince also, in a certain way, was Queen. Because Bohemian Rhapsody was so groundbreaking in its musical construct that Prince then started to extend that whole 12-minute or 10-minute song of Purple Rain. And he initially went to Stevie Nicks to help write lyrics for it. And she said this was too daunting for her to write the lyrics for, actually. And then he wrote his own lyrics. But I remember seeing Purple Rain in 1984. And it was such a... Warner Brothers did not expect it was going to do what it did.
In fact, the advance buzz on that, and Joe Piscopa, could you confirm this, is they thought it was a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Artist music, artist life story. Come on.
Yeah. And not to forget, Prince was one of the great guitarists of our time.
Yeah.
Brilliant guitarist. And that's why I always talk to musicians. You think about Clapton, you know, you think about Jimi Hendrix, Al Di Meola, but the Prince is right up there with the best of them as a musical artist.
But we got a big hit yesterday.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I also know, Joe, is that he was shy, you hear that, but he didn't do any advance publicity for his concerts or talk to reporters afterwards. We just lost Robert Davi, so I apologize for that.
Yeah.
But why was that?
I don't know, but all I knew is that he was...
You think you'd want to fill seats, which he did, by the way, without any of that.
He was quiet, and I, like I said before, shy, but you know, you hit the nail on the head. He stayed in Minnesota. How great, Minnesota's a great state. People are so grounded there.
Yeah.
If you've been out there, you know it. So, and that's the one thing that always struck me, and I would hear, when I go out to Minnesota to do personal appearances, I hear from Minnesotans little Prince stories. They'll just pop up at little places, man.
Tom Petty and all the stuff they had, these great, you know, Los Angeles backdrop in the Pacific and all that. And they would talk to him, say, hey, come on, this is great out here. No, I'm fine. Huge compound, though, right? It was like, looked like a hotel.
You know, I didn't see it, but I knew that he hung out with mutual friends, and he would pop up.
Yeah,
and
by the way, I didn't see it either. I have Googled. I mean, that's my first impression.
Seems very grounded, but you can't take away the talent of that guy, man. I mean, just the sheer talent, the guitar. What he could do with a guitar was pretty scary, and it was great to. You know what? As you get older, you're always pleased when you run across some of the great talent, and to be able to see Prince in person was pretty awesome.
and that he did things his way. I mean,
Yeah,
talk
man.
about, you know,
Yeah,
Frank
man.
Sinatra and people who've done great impressions of. This guy really did do it his own way, even when he was a thorn in the side of the very industry that helped see him become a big success.
Do we know what happened, Neil? Do you know
We
what
don't.
happened?
Just breathing difficulties. We know that he was battling these issues over the last couple of weeks. Outside of that, I'm sure they're digging into it as we speak.
Yeah, too young. Too young,
Thank
man.
you very, very much. Too young is right. Joe Piscopa.